Hi, I'm Cantor, and I burned my tongue really bad in some pesto yesterday. Also, I love movies, and I want to say I recently rewatched 5 romantic comedies from the early 20th century, 21st century, the early 2000s. And I recently watched 5 of those movies, and I want to say that, like, they are flawed films, but there's a heart to them that I really respect, and I really want to dive into that.
No, but you should do the right thing.
Let me explain what I mean. The movies I watched were 13 Going on 30, Made in Manhattan, 27 Dresses, Crazy Stupid Love, and He's Just Not That Into You. And there will be spoilers. There will be some plot spoilers for these films in this discussion.
What's the problem?
This! Do you know what this is going to cost me, huh? An entire day of doing nothing but covering your ass.
Each movie is about people in love, and each movie is varying levels of humorous.
What do you mean? These are my 407s.
Oh, they're 407s. Can I see them?
Yeah. These offer a lot of support.
Right.
Whoa, come on!
What are you, in a fraternity?
Are you insane?
Are you in a...
3 of them feature music from the Talking Heads. And 2 of them feature Judy Greer in a supporting role, once as a mean girl and once as a supportive best friend.
Listen, I want you to hire the best photographer, and I don't want Jenna to find out.
No, roger that.
Okay?
God, what's up with her lately anyway?
I wasn't gonna come to work in my bridesmaid dress.
2-day walk of shame outfit, elegant.
All of these movies hit theaters in the decade between 2002 and 2011. I have always been a sucker for the romantic comedy.
Hey.
Yeah?
You got arm hair.
What can I say? I like seeing people falling in love, and I like seeing people's dreams come true despite all obstacles. The narratives of these films have been soothing to me, both when I'm feeling a lack of love in my life, and when I'm in a relationship and want a reminder of how special love is. Let's start with what's wrong with these movies first. I have 3 big problems with rom-coms from this era. 1, there's not a whole lot of diversity. These are largely movies about white people, with the exception being J-Lo and Made in Manhattan. These are also largely movies about straight people, cisgender people, physically healthy people, physically attractive people, and people who seem to have a decent amount of money judging by their homes and their careers.
Jenna Rink. Jenna Rink. I live here.
I love all these lovesick characters regardless, but they do appear to live in worlds where the biggest issue is if they will ever get to kiss that special someone, as opposed to, worrying about money or worrying about politics or worrying about systemic injustice.
I know that you're the state assemblyman. I know that you're thinking of running for senator. I know your voting record and your consistent stand on environmental causes.
Look, I hate to interrupt, but...
Are you Republican?
Yes.
It's not that every story must revolve around heavy real-world themes, but stories that pretend that the biggest problem in life is finding a sweetheart do need to be acknowledged as existing in a kind of alternate universe. And I believe it's important to acknowledge the ways in which stories simplify the real world or erase parts of the real world in order for us viewers to have a deeper understanding of how stories both reflect and lie about reality. By acknowledging the blind spots in a story's scope, we are better able to talk about what's great and not so great about a story. And for the thing that's wrong number 2, these narratives do rely on a lot of old-fashioned gender tropes for both the advancement of the story and for laughs, and that at times falls a bit flat in 2025. An example includes how, in Crazy Stupid Love, the father of Jessica physically attacks Cal, who Jessica babysits for, after discovering that Jessica was planning on sending Cal nude photos of herself.
Bernie?
Daddy, Daddy, no!
I let her babysit for you, you son of a bitch!
God.
She's
Dad.
only 17 years old!
Daddy.
What are you talking about?
Oh, God, oh, God.
You know, and that kind of dad must protect daughter from men with violence kind of deal, instead of him just talking with his daughter about her choices and about whether or not Cal is doing anything inappropriate with her. Another example is the repeated trope of the woman who desperately wants to be married and the man she's dating who has no interest in marriage whatsoever.
So you think it's great that they're getting married, but you don't ever feel like we're going against nature or something by not getting married?
No.
And don't even get me started about the whole man kisses woman with zero preface and it's all romantic and stuff instead of invasive.
But you didn't. And that same wise person told me that I am the rule. That I have to stop thinking that every guy will change. That I have to stop thinking that...
When I was 17, I probably thought it was romantic, but nowadays, for me, it's weird and off-putting watching guys just flinging their faces at these women without any warning.
You will. You'll get somebody in this position who will stay for 2 years max because that's what's acceptable and appropriate for this.
And the third thing is how the narratives in these films tend to be pretty predictable and rather simple. There's not a lot of complicated stuff going on. People are in love with other people and starting to fall in love with other people. And there's often some kind of wrong being done to someone else that gets perfectly fixed by the end of the movie. Usually someone gives a monologue toward the end, and then at the conclusion the main characters are in love and truly perfectly happy and possibly literally at the altar. Now that we've addressed the flaws of these movies, so then what's so great about them? Let's start by diving into each movie. In 13 Going on 30, Jenna is a 13-year-old girl in the 80s feeling stressed about not being popular and beautiful, and through some sort of unexplained magic, she wakes up in Manhattan as a 30-year-old with a successful career in publishing. She learns that she did make friends with the cool kids eventually, but at the expense of losing her best friend Maddie, who she reconnects with in adult world, and they start falling in love, even though Maddie has a fiance and he's getting married in 2 weeks.
Thing is, it wasn't yesterday because I am not 13.
Jenna.
Yes.
Jenna Ring.
Yes. Matt, it's me.
It's a classic film that I loved when I was in middle school, even though some of the jokes about adulthood didn't really register with me when I was a kid because I didn't really understand what adulthood was all about.
Are you insinuating I'm gay?
It's a joke.
I think you should wear the Gucci. Yeah, it's better.
The movie features this incredibly awkward scene where Jenna, as her 13-year-old self in her 30-year-old body, flirts with an actual boy instead of an adult man at the bar who is eyeing her.
Could I borrow your ketchup? Sure. I actually came over here because I think you're really cute. So do you want to go out sometime?
The movie also features Razzles, the best candy.
Razzles?
Razzles? Wow, I haven't had Razzles in 15 years.
Remember, they're both a candy and a gum.
That's incredible.
But I struggle, but also, like, I struggle to be happy for Jenna and Maddie getting together in the end. Because through Jenna finding self-confidence and realizing Maddie is her true love and then bringing this knowledge back in time and living out life in a different way, Maddie's fiance is erased from his life entirely, which feels kind of sad to me, as if her whole life with him doesn't matter because, well, we all know Jenna is his true love. Isn't that sad? No, that's fine, but it's like, she's like, oh, you are my true love, let's go back in time and fix it, and then it's like his fiance just doesn't matter anymore.
And it's like the other partner just gets forgotten or has to be a bad person. Were we watching Miss Doubtfire earlier?
I have not. No. You've not watched Mrs. Doubtfire with me. No.
Okay. Well, anyway, the husband that has replaced Robin Williams is like portrayed as a horrible person for wanting like boundaries and therapy.
And then Robin Williams is like, I'm gonna lie to see my family.
I'm gonna manically, like sneak into their lives. And
does he get back together with his wife in the end? I forget how that movie ends.
I don't think so. I think they figure something out where he gets...
Because he mostly just wants to see his kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It ends well, but it's like, that guy is portrayed so terrible for being, like, reasonable and being like, Robin Williams, you're a chaotic mess.
And being sneaky and sneaking into your house as a fake nanny is totally kosher and fine.
Yeah, it's,
Right, Hercules? Maid in Manhattan is a kind of Cinderella story about Marissa, a maid in a nice Manhattan hotel, who tries on a wealthy hotel guest's clothes and then just kind of ends up spending time with Chris, a high-profile politician. Chris falls in love with her, even though their relationship is based on his misperceptions of who Marissa even is. He assumes she's a wealthy guest of the hotel. And she doesn't correct that.
It's for you, ma'am. What are you talking about? Ty, don't you...
Hey, Ma, this is Chris. He's got a giant gray dog named Rufus. And if you say okay, I'm gonna go walk with him, okay?
At first. He doesn't even know Marissa's real name until toward the end of the movie, and then when he realizes that he didn't have the full truth about her, moves on with his life until Marissa's son gives a monologue about how politicians lie and also forgiving people, and also like the son is obsessed with Richard Nixon for some reason.
Even if someone lied, they should be forgiven. Otherwise, we'd never have any congressmen or presidents.
And Chris goes, oh my god, I do love her, and then they get together for real.
Chris Marshall, candidate for Senate. I'd appreciate your vote.
We'll see.
There's some themes in there about class and poverty, and Chris speaking like he can fix the problems of New York's less wealthy neighborhoods, while Marissa tells him he doesn't actually understand those neighborhoods and should like go visit them and actually talk to the people there instead of preaching about all the magic political ways he's going to fix their problems. But the movie isn't really about that. It's about Marissa and Chris's fairy tale love.
You're telling people in the Bronx about the projects?
No, I'm just going to take the press up there and, shine some light on the living conditions,
Interesting.
27 Dresses is about Jane, who has been a bridesmaid 27 times, but has yet to find love herself. She's in love with her boss, George, who sees her as just a super dependable employee, and when her sister Tess comes to town to visit, she meets George and they quickly start a relationship based mostly on Tess lying about herself in order to appear to be George's dream girl. Meanwhile, I'm gonna wait till you finish drawing water.
I'm sorry. I gotta water my plants.
You're so noisy.
I gotta water my plants.
You do have to water your plants. That's important. Meanwhile, Jane meets Kevin, who writes about weddings in the newspaper. Jane loves Kevin's romantic writings, but he himself doesn't believe in marriage.
But you write the most beautiful things. Do you actually believe in love and marriage and just pretend to be a cynic, or are you actually a cynic who knows how to spin romantic crap for girls like me?
I didn't follow that at all, but I think the second one, the spinning crap one.
The two start off at odds with each other, but what do you think happens in the end? Well, they get drunk together and eventually fall in love. Jane also reveals Tess's lies to George, and in the end, when Jane marries Kevin, all 27 of the brides whose weddings she was in show up to be in her wedding.
Marriage is a cause for celebration. coming together as two people united.
It turns out I was right about one thing. I knew they'd all be there for me someday.
In Crazy Stupid Love, the movie starts with Emily asking her husband Cal for a divorce. Cal then jumps out of Emily's moving car in despair.
Did it? It just shows how broken we are. How much we really have.
The movie unfolds around a lot of overlapping narratives related to love. Cal's son Robbie is in love with the babysitter Jessica, who is in love with Cal. Cal meets hot, confident Jacob at a bar, and Jacob pledges to help Cal reinvent himself to the point that Emily will beg to have him back.
You're sitting there with a Supercuts haircut, you're getting drunk on watered-down vodka cranberries like a 14-year-old girl, and you're wearing a 44 when you should be wearing a 42 regular. Honestly, I don't know if I should help you or I should euthanize you.
Cal hooks up with Kate, not realizing that she is his son's teacher. Jacob starts a romance with Hannah, not realizing that she is Cal's daughter.
You smart in
A
school?
little bossy, yeah. But I won a spelling bee, and my dad cried at the spelling bee.
No way. That's nice.
Yeah.
What word did you win on?
It was so stupid. Curling up with a rich cup of coffee.
And everything comes crashing together at the end with a big, literal brawl among the guys, and eventually Cal and his wife get back together, which is a cool twist on the genre because the grand love story isn't a falling in love, but a re-falling in love.
I in my car the other night.
Oh, who are you?
I'm David Lindhagen.
David Lindhagen.
David Lindhagen.
Okay.
Is this a bad time?
Yeah.
The movie is also laugh out loud funny at some parts, which is impressive for the rom-com genre, which tends to be more amusing than hilarious. And last we have He's Just Not That Into You, which features a similar constellation of connected characters to what we saw in Crazy Stupid Love. Gigi has trouble recognizing when men aren't into her, and starts to fall for Alex, who is teaching her how to recognize when some guy isn't actually interested in dating her.
Yeah. But my friend Terry once went out with a guy who never called. She totally wrote him off. Over a year goes by.
Right.
And she ran into him, and it ended up that they...
Your friend Terry's an idiot.
Ben and Janine are married, but Ben is starting a fling with Anna, who in turn is on and off toying with Connor, who genuinely likes her, but wasn't that interested in Gigi when the two of them went out. Neil and Beth have been together for 7 years, and she deeply desires to get married, and he is not interested. In this film, I really feel for Gigi, who truly believes in and wants love, and feels her attractions earnestly and intensely. The scene where she goes to Alex's party, thinking he invited her because he's into her, especially pulls at my heartstrings. There's nothing like being at a gathering with someone you really like, and they're not really paying any attention to you.
A pass. I think I've rounded up the last of the beer bottles.
Marion shoots from three.
Okay.
Oh, what game are we playing?
Oh, sorry, Nash. Oh.
Come on.
Nash.
But of course, Gigi and Alex do get together in the end. That's the point of the movie. And Janine asks Ben for a divorce after learning about Anna, but not before Ben hides Anna in a closet and then has sex with his wife Janine in the adjoining room, and Anna just has to sit in the closet and listen to it. And then, understandably, is really upset and tells Ben to get the heck out of her life afterwards. That really happened. It's ridiculous.
You make me sick to my
I had no
stomach.
choice. What
You're
was
a
I supposed to
disgusting
do?
excuse for a man.
Anyway, you know what? You're the one I
Don't touch me!
And Beth breaks up with Neil for not wanting to get married, but then they get back together again. And Beth is like, it's okay, you don't have to get married. I understand you love me. But then Neil just gives her a ring anyway, and they get married, because of course they do.
I love you so much. So much. And I want to make you happy.
And that's what I love about these movies. It's like everything works out in the end. At their core, these are movies about longing, deep, true longing. And in the end, that longing is always resolved with dreams come true endings and real true love. Despite the flaws, it's a simpler and more just world than ours, because to believe in love and general good outcomes is consistently rewarded. The characters who are cruel to others get what's coming to them in the end, and lovers joyfully find each other. And ultimately, everyone is seen and understood. They're fun, positive films that go down easy like a fruity cocktail. And the naive worlds in these films are worlds we heartbroken, real-world people deserve. Our world is full of disappointment, heartbreak, pain, and lack of closure. I value the romantic comedy for allowing me to, if only briefly, live in a world where good things are coming if only we are brave enough to hope for them. And by taking a vacation into stories like these, I can come back to my own life and my own struggles with a little more courage and hope in me. Maybe those things won't be rewarded in reality, but they are worth striving for. I truly believe that. So watch one or two of these rom-coms, or others from this era. Enjoy the ride and come back to your own life, ready and willing to believe in love and good things. I'm Cantor. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. See you next time.